Welcome to this restorative yoga video. I'm going to demonstrate 3 postures which you should easily be able to replicate at home just using cushions and pillows, a blanket and a chair. And the 3 postures are, the first one is called supine bound angle pose or supine easy pose. So there's 2 versions I'm going to show you. The second one is legs over chair pose, sometimes called Viparita Karani, or a version of that pose, but legs over the chair is the main name for it. And then final resting pose is the third pose, or Shavasana. So for the first posture, I'm going to take a large cushion and place that towards the back of my mat. I'm then going to take a smaller cushion and just lean that against the larger cushion like this. I've got 2 cushions the same size at the bottom of my mat which are going to support my legs, which I'll show you in a moment. And then I've got 2 pillows here. The first pillow is a relatively firm pillow, but it's still, it's not particularly rigid. And then I've got a softer pillow, medium soft on top. You experiment and find which ones are best for you. And then I've got this blanket, which I folded in half already, and I'm going to place the pillows on top like this, and then I'm going to fold one side of the blanket like this, the other side like this. I'm then going to turn the blanket over, and I'm going to lay the pillows sloping down towards me, so there's no ridges of the blanket here, and just tuck the blanket under there. And then I've got another cushion that I'm going to be sitting on just to make it a little softer at the front of the pillows here. I'm then going to sit on the cushion with my top of my pelvis, lower back snuggled against the bottom of the pillows. And I'm going to just get the cushions ready for my legs. Now, the supine bound angle pose, which I mentioned, to practice that, we would bring the soles of our feet together. I'm wearing socks to keep my feet warm. Bring my soles of the feet, the heels, as close to my pelvis as feels comfortable. And then the cushions are there so that my knees don't open to the maximum that they could do. I want to feel supported so that my groin doesn't get strained if my knees go too wide and we're staying here for quite a while. So I'll squidge the cushions in like this, soles of the feet together, the legs lower down to the side, and then lengthening my tailbone towards my heels. With my hands on the floor, I'm going to lengthen my back over the pillows and snuggling into the pillows, laying down. Oh, that's lovely. Laying down, lengthening the back of my neck out, and that feels super comfortable. And some of you might want a folded up blanket or a low cushion underneath your head, but I don't. It's fine for me here. squidging those cushions to support my legs, and my hands, my elbows could rest snuggling to my body with my hands on my belly, or my hands could be on the floor, or I might bring them up on some other cushions if I wanted. Feel free to cover yourself with a blanket. Feel free to place a tissue over your eyes, your eyebrows, or an eye bag. An eye bag is simply like a little mini pillowcase, often filled with lavender or rice, something that adds a little bit of weight, and you place that over the eyebrows and the forehead, not on the eyeballs, eyebrows and forehead, and that can, for many people, can feel deeply relaxing. And once I'm in position, I'm going to bring my attention to my breath, focusing on the lower belly, expanding on the inhale, releasing on the exhale. If my mind is wandering, I'll often bring it to my heart center as well as following my breath. And I would normally set a timer, and you can stay here for 3 to 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I sometimes stay here for 20 minutes. And then the other pose that I mentioned, which is supine easy pose, I would cross my legs, crossing at the shins, coming onto the edges of my feet, as you can hopefully see there. And then I would squish the cushions back underneath my lower legs and upper legs to fully support them. Just make sure that they're equal height. And remember, halfway through, if you can, it doesn't particularly matter if you don't, just remember next time. But if you can remember, just change the cross of the legs halfway through. Oh, this is super comfortable. And feeling fully supported by everything that's underneath you. By the ground. And following the breath, but eventually you might just let go of the breath. Just allow the body to just breathe itself. But of course, if the mind is busy, following the breath, focusing on your heart center is a wonderful focus. And when you're ready to come out of this pose, I invite you to bend at your knees. Gently roll halfway over onto one side. And then press yourself up. For our second pose, I'm going to first of all take everything off the mat. And I'm going to take my chair and place it about 3/4, 2/3 of the way down the mat. I'm going to take one of the pillows away. I'm going to use the soft pillow for extra comfort. And I'm going to bring the pillow towards, so the edge of the pillow is Just going to tuck the blanket under. The edge of the pillow is towards the edge of the chair, the edge of the chair that's closest to me. The other pillow I'm going to use for my head, and that is really all that I need, but I am going to make use of these two smaller cushions as well for my hands here. So you'll see how I'm going to use those in a moment. I'm then going to sit sideways to the chair seat like this, and I'm going to, as quietly as I can, turn so that I can bring my legs over the chair seat, snuggle up the back of my knees up towards the edge of the pillow, the cushion, edge of the chair. I'm going to try and bring my thighs vertical so the thigh bones snugly start to drop down into the pelvis and into the hip sockets. And then lengthening my tailbone, I'm going to lay my back, lengthening my back over the mat and bring my head onto the pillow. This pillow is nicely supportive without being too high up. You can experiment whether you want a pillow or not, or you can use a folded up blanket. And the cushions that I mentioned, I'm going to bring my hands onto those cushions. So palms facing up or palms facing towards my body. Feel free, of course, to not use cushions, but just experiment and just see if one feels more supportive for your neck than the other. I tend to like some extra height for my hands. It feels much kinder to my neck. Just make sure they're the same height, your hands. Once more, feel free to cover yourself with a blanket. Feel free to place a tissue or an eyebrow or an eye bag over your forehead, your eyebrows, and try and bring yourself as symmetrical as possible here. The sofa usually is a very good height for this pose, and you can stay here for as long as you wish. I sometimes stay here for 20 minutes. Once more, focusing on your breath, focusing on your heart center if your mind is wandering. Having an immaculate standard of comfort, so feel free to wriggle around until you get into that perfect place where you feel fully supported. And rest deeply here. And then to come out of this posture, then I invite you to gently walk your feet to the edge of the chair. You might wish to shuffle back a little bit and then roll over onto one side, staying there for a few moments, and then gently pressing yourself up. I could have stayed there a lot longer. And then for our third posture, I'm going to take the chair away and I'm going to have a pillow for my head. The other pillow I'm going to place 3/4 of the way down my mat, or the space that I'm lying on. Just getting rid of any creases so it feels nice and smooth. The cushions I'm going to have once again for my hands. And so this is a final resting pose using lots of support. For extra comfort, if you're not lying on a carpet, then you could put another blanket or two on your yoga mat or on the floor that you're lying on, so it's nice and soft. And the pillow is going to go underneath my knees. I'm going to squish it up a little bit so it's a little higher. And then I'm going to just lengthen my body slowly down onto the mat. Lengthen out the back of my neck on the pillow. And then, as I mentioned, I like to have my hands on something. So either books or cushions or pillows. And my elbows are on the floor, my hands, palms could be facing up, my palms could be facing in towards my body. I'm just making sure they're roughly the same height, as I'm a bit squished on this right side, but yeah, they're the same height now. And settling into this pose as though nothing else matters, because nothing else does matter at this time. And closing or softening the eyes, covering yourself up with a blanket or using an eye pillow or both. And once more, getting as comfortable as you can, as symmetrical as your body allows. And resting here. I mentally go through relaxing my jaw, creating a little space between my lips, maybe swallowing a couple of times. Eyes soft behind the eyelids. Shoulders soft and relaxed. I might go through the whole of my body, or I might just stop there. I might follow the breath, or just let the breath go. And then to come out of it, I'm going to bend up one knee and then the other. And to move my hips over to one side and then roll over onto a side that feels comfortable for me. Staying here for a few moments. And then gently pressing myself up. And hopefully you've enjoyed these 3 postures. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions about any of the postures that we've done or anything else about restorative yoga. But the key thing is to get yourself as comfortable as you can, using as many supports, blankets, soft cushions, pillows that you want. And I hope you've enjoyed it.